Leon in RE9. Canon return or fan dream? Resident Evil fans have been begging for fan-favorite protagonist Leon Kennedy's return for years. With the upcoming Resident Evil 9 Requiem, it is now a possibility. So will he be back? Let's take a dive into the lore and discuss how he could fit into the story of the new Resident Evil game and the what-ifs of the continuation of the story. Leon S. Kennedy first appeared in Resident Evil 2 as a rookie Raccoon City police officer, attending his first day on the job and thrown straight into a nightmare. Over the series, he becomes a federal agent, DSO/US government, handling bioterrorism and BOW threats. As a village, RE8, what Leon has been up to has been kept off-screen for the most part. He has not been the primary focal point for recent chronological entries. The upcoming RE9 is titled Resident Evil Requiem, set to release February 27, 2026 on PS5, Xbox Series X/S, and PC. The protagonist is Grace Ashcroft, an FBI technical analyst investigating mysterious deaths tied to the past of her mother, who is a character by the name of Alyssa Ashcroft from past games such as Resident Evil Outbreak and Resident Evil Outbreak, File Number 2. The trailers show a rundown, post-apocalyptic Raccoon City and a hotel known as Renwood Hotel. Capcom reportedly considered Leon for RE9's protagonist at an early pitch stage, but ultimately went with a new lead to keep things fresh. Also, there's confirmation that the hooded figure in RE9's trailer is not a returning character like Leon, but a brand new creation. Here are potential roles Leon might have in RE9, if Capcom gives into the fans' demands. Theory number 1. Mentor or guide role. Leon shows up after the first act to assist Grace. He acts as a bridge between old-world bioterror lore and the new horror in RE9. He might bring contacts, intelligence on Umbrella or rogue BOW operations, and be a narrative link to older games. Theory 2. Parallel mission/dual protagonist. Leon pursues a separate but related case in Raccoon City's ruins or underground labs. At key moments, Leon's and Grace's paths intersect. He helps rescue her, or vice versa, creating tension and crossover. Secret Captain Survivalist. Leon could be hiding inside the ruins of Raccoon City, operating in secret for years, silently investigating anomalies, possibly explaining his absence and not being mentioned. Perhaps an experiment or case that dates back to Umbrella's earlier days that him and Alyssa Ashcroft were both involved in. Maybe Grace's mission forces his hand. He emerges when things get bad, saving her when things go sideways. And for the final, and in my opinion, the most interesting role Leon could play in Resident Evil 9 Requiem is a hidden antagonist conspiring against Grace. Perhaps a darker path. Leon could be compromised via mind control or virus experiment and becomes an obstacle. Grace must confront Leon, turning the hero into a tragic enemy for a dramatic climax. If Leon appears, Capcom will need to justify why now, where he's been, and what he can bring to RE9's themes of horror and legacy. Let's discuss a few pros and cons of Capcom bringing Leon back. Let's go over some pros. Massive fan service. Leon's return would draw attention, hype, and emotional weight. Bridging old and new lore. Leon can put context to Umbrella's resurgence or leftover plots, such as explaining where he has been or ultimately ending his story by having him dying. Now let's go over a couple of possible cons to this. Overshadowing. Because of how much of a well-known and loved character Leon is, he could potentially steal the spotlight and draw the attention away from our new protagonist, Grace. Continuity risk. If not handled carefully, they could quote-unquote break the canon or make the lore and Leon's story inconsistent. Tone mismatch. Resident Evil Requiem seems to not be the type of survival horror game where you're this big tough character blasting through hordes of enemies, but one where you play as a vulnerable protagonist simply trying to survive. This may be a problem if Leon were to return, considering he is so desensitized to these things after his now around 30 years of experience. So, will Leon Kennedy really be in Resident Evil 9 Requiem? Based on what we know, Capcom seems cautious about giving us any info and keeping any returns of old characters a complete surprise. The hooded figure is confirmed new, and the protagonist is Grace. But that doesn't rule Leon out entirely. He could return in a supporting or cameo capacity, especially if they want to tie legacy and horror together. What do you think? Will Leon make his grand comeback? Or stay retired? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to hit like and subscribe for all things theories and lore.